Man Ray, a modernist photographer. Man Ray was an American modernist artist, leading figure in the Dada and Surrealist art movement in both America and France. Man Ray grew up in New York, where he studied at the National Academy of Design. In 1913, Man Ray was introduced to the European avant-garde armory show. It was the first expedition in the United States to feature modern art. This is where Man Ray was inspired to reject the traditional styles and method to create his very own unique ways of creating art. Examples of his type of art. World when the photographer was practicing. Man Ray's practices were during World War II. He relocated in Hollywood, California, where he continued to discover new styles and methods, focusing on painting, filmmaking, and constructing the objects within the Dada and Surrealist canon. The photographer's main influences and inspirations from that era. Man Ray had many inspirations. One of the most famous beings was Marcus de Sade, a man imprisoned for writing about sexual abuses involving women. Man Ray was inspired by his obsession with women and also began to explore female eroticism, noticeable in many of his photographs. Man Ray tried to create a surrealist vision of the female form and developed solarization and cropping to create a surreal effect in his photographs. The style and techniques of the artist. Man Ray discovered rayographs, which was his own and new technique. He started creating many interesting images using his method. His method involved effects of negative imaging, unusual contrasts of unrecognizable objects. Different variations of exposure were given to different objects within a single image. The subject matter explored by the photographer in their work. Man Ray is a very unique artist. He is not just classified as an artist, but also a painter, photographer, filmmaker, object maker, and a poet. Man Ray is a chain of mysteries. Impossibilities characterize each stage of his long career that show you his personality within his artworks. Cindy Sherman, a contemporary photographer. Cindy Sherman set out to study painting at State University College at Buffalo, until one day she realized that she had enough of limitations of painting. Frustrations crept in, and so did a new perspective on art itself. Instead, she moved to photography, as she felt like it was the only way she could express her creativity. The photographer's main influences and inspirations from that era. Cindy Sherman's inspiration was American feminism. Sherman turned to photography in order to explore a wide range of common female social roles. One of Cindy Sherman's influences is Andy Warhol, who was an American artist, a leading figure in the visual art movement known as pop art. The style techniques of the artist. Cindy Sherman works in stages, especially when she's photographing herself in different types of costumes. Cindy Sherman shoots alone in her studio, placing herself in numerous roles as author, director, makeup artist, hairstylist, and wardrobe mistress, and of course, model. Subject matter explored by the photographer in their works. Cindy Sherman is an American photographer and film director, best known for her conceptual portraits. Through many of her works, Cindy Sherman has wanted to raise challenging and important questions about the role and representation of women in society, the media and the nature of the creation of art. Her photographs include some of the most expensive photographs ever sold.